Hello. Welcome to the
God,
Knit
that's
Girls.
a flattering look. Look at all the deep bags. I'm so sexy, I just don't know what to do with myself.
Welcome to the Knit Girls. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les, and hypercritical today, apparently. It's Monday, the 8th of May.
Yep.
I don't really have anything else witty to say today. This has been a long day at work. I had a 5-hour intensive class, so my brain's a little dead at the moment. But knitting, would you like to go, or do you want me to?
I'm at a multiple needle point. No, but I'm good to go. I promise.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't look like it.
There's 2 sets of needles in here, and I'm not certain why. We had the same conversation last week.
And
All right,
the week before.
No, just last week. Maybe. Crap. Look, I'm going to use my donut as a pink cushion.
Donut be mean to it.
Donut come for me. Alright, I am knitting a pair of socks that are very wee. I just have the toe started, and they are from Desert Vista Dye Works. I'm knitting them on size 0s. They're a hot mess, apparently. I don't know what's happening. My bag kind of exploded, apparently. Well, it just keeps getting shoved in other bags, so... Anyway, and it's a cute bag. It's one of the Joanna Spring Knit Spin Farm bags. With jellyfish, which makes me super happy, and it matches my yarn, which is peacock, which also looks like a hot mess. See this, but I can blame this on Leslie because she wound it, and I did not.
I wound it a week ago, and it didn't look like that.
Because if I wound it, it would be like more of a hot mess than this. I'm terrible at winding yarn. Anyway. I don't know what kind of socks I'm knitting yet.
I think that's more of like the Paris Hilton approach, where you do it terribly on purpose so that you can convince other people to do it for you.
I don't know. I want my own yarn usually. Desert Vista Dye Works. Awesome self-striping socks. I don't know what pattern I'm using yet, besides the fact that they're going to be from the toe up. Probably plain vanilla. And... that's it. I start with 16 stitches on each needle. Now I'm going to say lots of numbers because Leslie's counting. I start with 16 stitches on each needle and then increase up to 32 on each needle for the toe. And then I will pick a pattern and decide on my heel from that point. But right now I just have a smidge of blue and a smidge of purple. And hopefully one day they will grow up to be socks. This is my purse project. So that's the first thing on my needles. The second thing on my needles is a baby blanket. So my cousin is having twin boys. And she did the 3D ultrasound thing, and one of them was just kicking the crap in the head of the other one, like kicking him in the head, which is a great sign for the future. So she's having twin boys, and these will be her 3rd and 4th children, respectively, and 3 of which will be boys. I don't think I knit for the first 2, so I'm going to knit for these 2. I'm doing the bounce blanket, which is a blanket. It's a lace pattern blanket, but it's a subtle lace. I feel like it can still go boy. It also is going to need to be blocked. So I have 1 repeat done, and I need to get 4 repeats done a week on this. And I cast on not realizing that the lace is 2-sided lace. Which is only 6 rows of 2-sided lace. But I like my rest rows. I forget how much I like my rest rows until I don't have them. It's got a center double decrease on both sides, which is really interesting. I don't think I've done that before. I'm using Barocco Vintage. I am doing 4 of each color. So I'm going to do 4 of these turquoise, and then 4 of the next blue, and then 4 of the next blue. The gray is going to stay the same though. And then the last is a dark gray. And I'm doing that because I hate weaving in ends. I'm also carrying the yarn up the side because I hate weaving in ends. So there's a smidge. It would be better if I carried it every single row. What I'm doing to carry it up the side is I'm knitting the first stitch with both yarns. And then I'll knit those 2 together. On the next row.
Yeah.
So it kind of disappears. It gives a little blip of color, but I don't care because I don't have to weave in ends. I feel like you would be weaving in so many ends that they would kind of show or add bulk by default.
I think you're going to justify this no matter what I say. So.
That's true. But
because you could always twist them, like with color affection, where you twist them up the side.
I've done that before. I like this better.
Okay.
It creates less bulk, I feel like. Plus, this way I keep it standard, whereas when I twist it, sometimes I twist it one way, sometimes I twist it the other way. Too. This way it consistently stays the same. If I would do it consistently, it would stay the same. But it creates little, like, real small blips of color up the side, but I don't think it's terrible.
I don't think anyone will notice.
It'll be okay. Well, now they will, because I just told them.
Anyone that isn't a knitter.
But anyway, I when I came over, Leslie and I started talking, and I had purposely left like 5 rows of garter to knit. I was like, that's what I'll knit during the show. And then by the time we started, I was already done and did a lace row. So, that will be...
She's calling me slow.
No, we had stuff to discuss.
That's true.
We always have stuff to discuss, but the U.S. Post Office site was not the most friendly. Anyway, I am doing the smaller size, but I kept the same needle size as recommended because that way my gauge is always a little bit bigger, but I like the drape of this. I don't feel like it's too loose. So it'll come out a little, and the smaller size is like 28 by 30, which I think is a good size anyways.
It's like a car blanket, yeah.
I think that'll be a good size. I'm knitting 2 of them. You can't expect miracles here. Also, I might change the pattern for the second one to a log cabin or something easier. It's not, I don't mean to say that this is, I can't, so.
You want something you don't have to think about.
I want something that I can watch Penguins games and not have to count during. Because lately I've been spinning during the Penguins games because I didn't feel like socks, and I didn't feel like I could knit on this during them. Because I tried knitting on this at knit night, and it took me 3 hours to get that 12 rows done because I was constantly counting and recounting and counting. I'm also using the Knitter's Pride like square needles, which they keep untwisting on me, like as I knit. I have that problem with needles that twist together, because apparently I like to twist my needles the opposite direction of which they should be twisted as I knit.
I've done that, like especially on the right needle. On the one where I'm constantly
It's always one. Yep.
Yeah.
So those might get traded out, but I can't find my size 7 signatures. They're somewhere.
I've got a set right back there.
Oh. But yeah, you have my 5.
Yes,
somewhere.
I do.
But that might be incentive for me to finish up some whips so I can get out needles that I like. I have plenty of other needle sets that I like. I just don't like the cubes for some reason feel weird in my hand.
Yeah, I don't particularly like them, but some people swear by them.
Yeah.
So it's all personal taste.
It's all personal preference. That's all I'm working on.
You don't have 12 more stitches worth to talk about?
So these are the 2 colors that I have.
And this is vintage?
And this is Barocco Vintage, which is a great like workhorse. It's my favorite for babies because it's acrylic wool nylon blend. So it's that little bit of wool. It'll probably still melt though. It's okay.
Well, if you're in a situation where it's melting, you're probably more worried about the baby than the blanket. So
that's true. Well, melting on the baby would be terrible.
Well, this is true.
But maybe there's enough wool that it would self-extinguish and not melt. It's hard with babies, yo.
Random things. This off the rails in the first 10 minutes. Just
one of my coworkers was telling me about her child, and her child was not well behaved at school today, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. This is why I don't have kids.
They can be a challenge, that's for sure.
They are a challenge. And after a full day, I can barely keep up with my dog and my cat. Did I see? I was wasting time for you. Did I do a good job?
You did.
Awesome.
Success.
This is in my Amy Beth bag that I got at SSK this year. So that's the fat squirrel. And apparently I paid $47 for it because it still has a price tag on it because I'm fancy like that.
So I have a couple things that I'm knitting on. One I didn't even put in the show notes because I literally just started it. And I didn't know if I was going to be. So I just started my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks. I've got a whole row. And this month I'm using the one allowable Frankenstein month where you can use bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Laura was kind enough to gather her bits and bobs for me because I don't have as much Desert Vista. I mean, if it was just a self-striping, I'd be golden. But I don't have as much Desert Vista. So I don't have as much bits and bobs. So look at all that gloriousness. There's so many nice... So I'm starting with this one. This is Pete's Dragon, you said?
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Puff the Magic Dragon. This is her last month, Dios de los Muertos.
Yep.
This is the Steelers one. Color accents.
It's color accents yellow.
This one.
DVD logo.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good one. I got that at a Cisco 1 year too.
Flintstones.
Yep, Flintstones. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
And you have socks out of
yes.
that. Where everyone knows your name or something.
I was thinking like funny papers. It almost looks like the comics, but
yeah.
I think she has one of those. Zombody something.
Zombody, It's Cold Outside. That was the first one that I ever did for her knit along.
This was the Little Women color?
Yeah.
Color accents green and
lime.
Black. Okay.
Color accents lime.
Wildflowers.
Wildflowers.
Somebody Loves the TheKnitGirllls.
Yes. You have that one too.
Yep. So
is that all of them?
Yeah.
You're missing Harold's purple
3,
crayon.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in this bag.
Man, I've knit 12 pairs of socks out of her yarn. Soon to be 13. That's awesome.
It is. So I'm making zero attempt to make my socks match because...
Are you just going to knit to the end of this game?
Or no, I think I'm going to do one color repeat, and then pick up a new color.
So that would be 6 color repeats per skein. Roundabout.
Yeah, because some of them very, like the Dios one is a longer repeat, and the
totally
Zombody one is a shorter one. But yeah, so I'm just going to knit a repeat and then pick a new color. So I do have to pay attention in some regard at least to make sure I'm not just going on and on. So I always knit my socks on size 2.25 millimeter needles, which are US size 1s. Is that right? Yeah. Other things I'm knitting. I am almost finished with my broad turn tank, which is a tank out of Quince & Company Kestrel, which is their 100% organic linen. I am using the Ep347 colorway, and pull this out. It is kind of ungainly at the moment. Alright, this is the bottom. That's the back. This is the front. So I've got the back completely done, the front mostly done. So I've got it up to the neck, and then the I'm about ready to split for the between the neck and the shoulder. So it's about 1.5 inches on either side. But I want to count this for stash, so I'm leaving that until May 20 whatever, and then I'll be able to finish
23rd?
Whenever it is. I think it's 26th.
No, it's 26th.
Yeah. So yeah, I just have to knit up a couple inches over like 40 stitches, and then over here the same thing, and then you do a 3 needle bind off at the top, and then that'll be done. So that's close to being finished, but it's not quite finished. It will be in the try-on room at SSK, and that's living in my loop bag. And the other thing is, yesterday I want to take advantage of the fact that I've knit on things over the past months but not finished them. So I want to finish as many of those things as I can.
But you're also frogging stuff too, right?
I am, yes. Some things that I just never see myself using, I am frogging. So we reviewed this a few months back, Sherlock Knits by Joanna Johnson. And she does the Anne of Green Gables stuff too. And this is a pattern I liked. Gwen says it's my little goth girl. So this is called The Woman, and it is a reference to one of the characters in Sherlock, the show and books and all that. I guess it was books more than anything. And I'm using Plucky Knitter in the Honey Wilkes colorway. It is a 55 cashmere, 45 silk blend, and it is a really glowy. It's a little more orange than it's showing, a little more pumpkin-y than it's showing, but it's super soft. It's great to use.
And that's a lace weight?
It is a lace weight. So this is the one that I've had done. Ooh, that's the wrong hand. I only know because of where the loop is. So this, I finished the first one, I don't know, a couple months back. And then I cast on.
Oh, you're almost done with that too.
Yeah, I cast on at Laura's house when we were watching RuPaul this weekend. And this is pretty much what I've been working on. So, it does not have the little loop yet.
And
I haven't finished binding. Yeah. Well, I only have to bind off. I've already bound off half.
Okay.
So I've got another half to bind off. And then I have an I-cord loop, like this one, to do on this side. And that, I feel confident that that will count for stash. Not that it matters. I'm not winning any prizes. But I don't want to feel like I cheated, so.
No, you've got knitting to go on it, so it counts.
So I've still got to bind off, and I've still got the I-cord down at the bottom to knit. They are super soft, though. God, this is soft. Try it on.
I've already tried it on once, I think.
Be goth girl with me.
You should knit me a pair, and then I could be goth girl with you all the time.
I think I probably will knit more arm warmers, but I'll do them in a more simple pattern that I don't have to think about.
Yeah. Because
this involves slipping, like, yarn overs, and that's kind of a pain.
Handspun's perfect for...
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. It's real soft.
I feel like the new... Is it Wonder Woman? Comes out?
I don't know.
She's got the...
Wonder Woman is never something I got into. Oh, I got one more thing to show. Also, my dogs are going nuts. Michael probably walked outside without them or something.
Uh-oh.
Crazy. This is like the week of fail for me. More in favorite things later. But so I pulled the Z hat out.
Yeah.
To work on it because I also want to get it close to the point where it's done.
Uh-huh.
According to the pattern, like this is the halfway point right here, and I do 2 more entire repeats before decreasing. But I think I'm just going to do 1 because that's like 2.5 inches.
Is it at like 5 now?
I think it's probably more like 6. And I didn't check my gauge, so it's probably that more than anything else. Oh, that's centimeters. It's almost 7.
7. Yeah, I would do 1.
So that's what I was doing.
Just it'll still give you slouchiness.
Happily knitting along, and then I came around on the other side, and that's supposed to be there, so I made a mistake.
So you're gonna tink back?
Let's see if I can get it to where people can see. Yeah, it's only 4 rows. Those 2 right there, this is supposed to be joined to this one. And I was off counting or something, so I'll have to rip back about 4 rows. And it's not hard, it's just because
I think ripping back brioche is harder than normal.
It is, because you're juggling live and not live stitches of the alternate
but
color
they are
every
kind
row.
Of live.
Yeah. And there's yarn overs in weird places, and so it's kind of a pain, but it's definitely doable.
Better to catch it now than later.
Also, I think I messed that up too. Look, I messed that up too.
Well, you're going back anyways.
Man, I was all off on that row. It's the same row.
Were you doing that at Knit Night?
Yeah.
You took that to Knit Night. Yeah. Knit Night's evil.
So, yeah. So that's in the Tom Bin bag. I just love using it. It's so nice.
That's Woolfolk?
Woolfolk Far. It's their chainette. Merino. It's not Peruvian. It's Uruguay, maybe? Now I can't remember. I'm sorry. Whatever it is, it's all ethically
sourced. And lovely.
Yes, and the people at Woolfolk are also lovely.
Yep.
And that's all.
Okay. I have one finished object. So,
Huzzah.
I'm doing Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup. Well, I just dropped a stitch. And for Quidditch this term, so there's all these different, the way this works is there's all these different classes, and you turn in, there's prompts that tell you, like, hey, either, for this class you can knit 2 of something, or you can knit with the color blue, and Quidditch kind of usually follows the same format. And there's a story that goes with it. People spend a lot of time writing the story, and it's really cool. But for Quidditch, this first round, it was a food item. You could either cook something and write the recipe and then show a picture of it cooking or being, finished. Or you could, that was like for 5 points. And it had to be like 3 steps. So like take out bread, toast bread, put on butter, put on jam would count. Mm. Or for 20 points, we're talking about imaginary points, you could knit a food item. And I was remembering years ago we reviewed Adventures in Mochi Mochi Land.
Yeah, we reviewed several of Anna's books.
Yeah, and I've never used any of them, and I feel like such a failure because also my hands over the donut. And I feel like such a failure. And this is actually like a book that you can read.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a story. Yeah, it tells a story. There's a crabby crab. And then also, there's items like 25 patterns that you can knit, one of which is the donut. So, on Saturday, we record a brief Periscope where I've been going through, I got down a little bit in the dumps about not being in Maryland, and then I was like, but I have awesome yarn that I need to use up. So I was going through, I have 2 bins of yarn that I've bought in the last year, which is crazy.
Not judging, can't judge.
At various events like SSK, SAF, Maryland Sheep and Wool, Dixon, Murphy, Fiber in the Borough, and Oxford. So those are quite a few events. Mm-hmm. So I had 2 big bins of yarn that I purchased, plus like I hit the Black Friday sale from Miss Babs. And anyway, I've got crazy amounts of yarn. So I was going through and there was a thing of odds and ends, one of which was hand spun, and one just had like odds and ends of like Cascade G20. So I decided to knit the donut.
I think it looks like a red velvet cake donut.
Yeah, so the top is hand spun. It is a bat that I had it was like a 1 ounce bat that I made at yarn school and then spun up in chain plied. So that's the top. And the bottom is Cascade 220. And the stuffing's coming, like the Cascade 220 was not as dense as the hand spun, which is unfortunate. But whatever. It's a donut. I'm actually giving it to one of my coworkers. He sells donuts on Friday mornings for Youth and Government, and they have this song like $dollars for donuts, $dollars for donuts, dollar 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 dollar. And it's a song that they did for him, so I'm gonna give him a little donut with eyes. So that's going to go to work with me tomorrow. It was a cute pattern, really really quick. The seaming in the middle is not the best, but anyway, I was looking on Amazon for black fiber fill because I was like, this would be much better with black fiber fill. There are some pictures of fiber fill on Amazon selling the fiber fill lifestyle, like these attractive women covered in fiber fill, and I was like, but they didn't have black fiber fill, only white.
You could have just taken some wool, like some wool fleece.
I could have, but I used that for other things, like spinning. And I had a bag of white fiber fill. And he's pretty cute. I think he's pretty cute. He's knit on size 4 needles. And he's a little wee donut. And I'm probably going to knit another one day. Because he was fun. I enjoyed him. And it was a good way of using up, like, the 20 yards of hand spun that I had.
Yeah.
Like, bits and bobs. It is the growing donut because you can knit it in 3 sizes. The pattern stays the same. One is fingering weight. One is worsted, and one is bulky, so you can have 3 donuts of various sizes.
Now I want a donut.
I'll have to knit you one for all your donut needs. Donut come for me. So that was my one hit only finished subject this week. Is I was knitting on it. when RuPaul's Drag Race was on at my house. So that is what I have. Do you have any spinning?
No.
You should ply.
I should.
You
Yes.
should totally ply.
I should.
Alright. I do have a little bit of spinning.
I wonder if they've rested long enough. It's been like a month.
Is that what you promised someone for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to get through because I'm behind sending out stuff too. So I need to get through with you. And, like, I already talked to P. Hobbs, so she knows that I'm late. Which was not a surprise for her. Alright, I finished spinning the wool pierogi batata.
Batatats.
It's got little bits of apparently thread.
That's on my floor now, just in case you're wondering.
Where else would it go? It's where it lives. It's got these little bits of confetti, wool nips, that are in it. And it's just been thick and thin. I just did what the bat told me it wanted to do. It had lots of locks and silicone oil, and it's fun. It's 300 yards.
I feel like the light is washing it out. It's much brighter than it looks.
It's got some really pretty bits on a neutral. So it has these like pops of color throughout, which is really, really fun.
Although if you tend to have compulsive tendencies of picking things
no,
out, this is the wrong yarn for you.
This would not be a good yarn for you. And it's squishy. Actually soaked it last night and hung it out all day outside for it to dry, and I was worried the birds would steal it, but they did not. Because these are the irrational fears that go through my head at work.
When I let Pearl out at your house the other day, Laura's got a drying rack on her back patio.
Yeah.
And
I need to get a new one.
There was a pair of hand knit socks that were out there, I guess, to dry, like they've been washed. And one was over here, and one was way out there. So I don't know what happened, but I put them back on the thing.
You know why Pearl likes that back corner? There's a nest of baby birds back there that she wants to destroy.
Yummy.
Yes. She's not allowed to destroy them. She might have already destroyed them. I don't know. But that's what's in that back corner. Because the mama bird was... Where did this... Oh, it's the bottom of this bag has thread in it. It's like, where are all these little threads coming from? Anyway, my dog, the destroyer of everything. The other thing that I finished spinning, do you remember I had that wee tiny bobbin on the Country Craftsman, and I took one bit of...
God, is that all of it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like I was spinning on it forever, and I got 80 yards of a chain ply.
Wow.
So, this itty-bitty skein.
I mean, it's pretty, but it is small.
Yeah, so it's part of a patchwork kit, which had bunches and bunches of little bits of yarn that I'm just chain plying. So I'm spinning them when I just need, like, a cleanser. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to knit a blanket out of them at some point in the very, very far future. For me. Knit one of those bounce blankets for me. Because this would be perfect for, like,
I don't see that ever happening. Ever. You'd happily take one.
Yeah, I could pretend. But yeah, 80 yards of a chain ply. Itty bitty. But fun. And then what's on the wheel now? Well, actually, what's on the wheel now is I'm thread plying bat from Hobbly-Hoy.
Excuse me.
A Hobbly-Hoy battling set in the Goblin Queen colorway, and I'm thread plying it with some silk thread that I got at Joann's, which I didn't even know they sold silk thread at Joann's, but Jillian Marino told me, so it must be so.
It must be so.
But I had to empty off a bobbin so I could ply, like, finish this bobbin so I could ply on the other bobbin.
What wheel is that?
That's a Hanson.
Oh.
It's a woolly winder.
Oh. Just seems like this is thicker than... Like, this end is thicker than this end. I guess because of the woolly winder.
Well, that's the brake band end.
Yeah, but usually they're the same width.
I don't know. So you can kind of see the purple sneaking through and the blue. This is 4 ounces. This is 2 ounces of 4 ounces from Hello Yarn. I have no idea where the bag of the fiber went. Oh, look, it's behind. I was keeping it nice and warm.
It was cushioning you.
It was. This is Ice Crystals. It's a organic Polworth. So this is the second half. It's got lots of like that baby blue and then a darker blue, a pink, a brown. guess it doesn't have purple. I was lying. It's a pinkish purple. So this is going to be for P. Hobbs as soon as I'm done plying it and spinning it. So that is the second 4 ounces. 4 ounces. That's the second half of 4 ounces, so 2 ounces. The first half I split into 2. This one I think I'm just going to spin across the top.
So it'll be a fractal.
It'll
sort of.
kind of be a fractal. Fractals are traditionally split into thirds.
But you're not making any attempt to match color.
No. I'm making an attempt not to match color, in fact, by splitting it that way. I could split it in halves again, and maybe it would match. So that's what's on the wheel, and then the rose has some of David's stuff that I just started. Some Shetland, because I am obsessed with the TV show Shetland. It's on Netflix. It's really, really good. There's only 3 seasons, which makes me really sad because I'm almost done with it. But it's like very color-wise, like the greens and blues of Shetland as well. So I'm
So
enjoying.
what is it, like a crime, like a
It is a
drama?
crime show, kind of like Midsummer, but a little bit more modern, I would say. Like the one that and it's like each episode, each storyline is divided into 2 parts. So I just finished one where it was a woman killed, and she was what do you call people who study birds? Ornithologist? Ornithologist.
Paula would know.
She would. So would Joanna Spring. So would Amy Beth. So
Probably
would lots
most
of people. Would know. Just listed. My parents would know.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my spinning. Yay! That's all I've got. Some hand spun, some spinning, some knitted donut.
As far as reading, I am on the 3rd in the Authority series. I've been listening to about 1 a week, interspersed with other books that I re-listen to books sometimes just because if I'm very busy or if I'm trying to pay attention to something, then I can't, like this series that I'm listening to, Authority, you can't like zone out for a minute or you'll come back and have 0 clue what's happening.
And I have that issue with audiobooks more. Like with books, you can just flip back a page and you're like, oh, with audiobooks it's a little bit harder to go back to where your train of thought.
Yeah. And
it's harder to find
this
that
one.
point.
This one is like, you feel like you're on an unwilling acid trip. You're not certain what in the world's happening. Unwilling Acid Trip would be an awesome band name.
Yeah, it would.
Anyway, so I'm on the 3rd in the series. It's called Acceptance. I went and looked, because I talked about this before, like if you have the Kindle version of some books, you can get the Audible version for just $1 or $2.
And they'll sync up too.
Yeah, and I never bought the 3rd one because I was like, I give up.
Aww.
But it's easier to listen to than it is to read. But anyway, I need to go over here and page down so you can see. So what have you been reading?
I have been re-listening to Burn For Me by Alana Andrews. I have 5 days left on that library checkout, and around 15 hours left to listen to, so no, it's
if you
15
knit on
hours
blankets
total.
and
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That would be a good thing to do.
Pearl would like it if you just sat in bed and knit and chilled. Well,
No, she wouldn't. She would run around and steal my shoes.
she doesn't want you doing anything without her, but she also doesn't want you doing nothing.
But petting her, like if I was to sit there and pet her the whole time, she'd be totally.
I wonder if there's
a
a machine like that you can. That's terrible.
That's super creepy.
That you can
too.
put in your lap to just pet the dog while you're knitting. That's kind of terrible.
And creepy. And then I started a new series and read the first 2, but I can't tell you what it is because Leslie has this in the middle. Leopard King by Anne Aguirre. I've read books by her before and kind of enjoyed them, so this one popped up on my suggested for you for Amazon, and I read the sample and enjoyed it, and so I read the first 2. It is a shapeshifter kind of dystopia future world. So there's wolf shifters, there's leopard shifters, and the main character is a leopard shifter, and his wife was killed. And so the other main protagonist was his wife's best friend, and he's like the leopard king. So she's trying to convince him to come back and go through these negotiations.
And be buddies with the wolf pack?
And be buddies with the wolf pack, the bear pack, these other people that can transform kind of like into gargoyle / demon type people. And then
is there a hedgehog pack?
No. And then there's this League of Assassins that's kind of betrayed them. So the humans all live in the southern United States, and these
shifters.
Yeah, shifters. It kind of reminds me of what's the futuristic one that's like marked, the one where the seers cut themselves.
Oh, that's etched in bone, marked in
Yes.
flesh, and bishops.
And Bishop. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
I've still
Just a
never
bit.
read the fourth one or fifth one, whatever the latest one was.
It came out in the library, like it came up, but I wasn't in the mindset to read
Yeah.
it. So it was like when I hurt my knee and all that was going on, so
You didn't need any downers.
I did not. Oh, my knee's all better. Like, I got the all clear from the doctor. It's not all better. It's still swollen as crap, but I don't have to go back to the doctor. I just have to wait, and be patient and not do things that'll stress it out.
Another good reason not to be at Maryland.
Yeah, that would have been, especially with the mud. I would have probably tweaked it at some point, gone down. You would have had to carry me back to the car, piggyback style. Plus,
That would have been fun.
Pearl's not allowed any activity with the heartworm, so getting her crated, that would be just stressful anyways. She can't handle being across the room from me, let alone me being forever away. So, and she's on, this Wednesday will be week 3 of the treatments done.
And there's 8 total.
And there's 8 total weeks. So she goes back on the 22nd and has to spend 2 nights at the vet. It's gonna be quiet in my house. I should do all the things just to keep my mind off of it too. Yeah, she should technically go back that Friday before, but they won't do a 2-day treatment over the weekend because
There's nobody there at all the hours. Yeah.
On Sundays they have someone part-time come in, but they don't want to leave her, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But they said, just bring her in Monday so she can chase all the voles and birds she wants that Saturday, I guess. I don't know. I'm still going to limit her exercise because I'm a jerk. But I would think bits of worms are still breaking off in her bloodstream, so anyway.
On that happy note.
Yay! But it's getting better. She's getting better. She thinks nothing's wrong. Most people tell me, oh, my dog was very low key and was fine just hanging out in their crate the whole time. My dog rams the crate until she gets out.
When there's somebody there.
Yeah.
She doesn't hurt herself. If she seems to be pretty good about going in when it's time to go in.
She gets a treat.
Which is good.
She's fine with
Some
that.
dogs, I used to have a dog that we didn't crate him, but he went in the bathroom. This is when I was younger, but and he got to the point where he was like, I don't care if you're giving me a steak. I'm not going in that room.
Well, she, if we get off schedule, so in the summer, I'm going to have to leave at some point during the day, too, and make sure she's getting in the crate to, keep her on schedule.
Yeah.
Because if she gets off, or if one time I, leave and let her, hang out just in the bedroom and not in the crate, then she thinks she can do that all the time, and then she'll jump on the bed and refuse to go in the crate. We've played this game before.
Yeah.
And it's like kids. You have to be consistent. Anyway. You did not want a dog show,
So,
I'm pretty
speaking
sure.
of consistency, I was working on the Social Bee Sampler.
Yeah.
Trying to catch up because I was 4 behind still.
Yeah.
And I was working on the Flying Geese block.
Flying geese are amazing. That's my favorite quilt block. Just
And
so you all know.
I consistently did it wrong 10 times.
Oh.
I talked about this a little bit at Knit Night, but so one of the ways to make quilt block or to make flying geese is you take one big square and then 2 smaller squares and you sew them together and do fancy cutting. But the important thing is that they're supposed to be right sides together, and mine are not at all.
Oh.
They're all right side to wrong. They're not even wrong sides together. They're half and half. Like, they're unusable. And I did 10 of them that way.
Oh, that makes me super sad.
So I have
That's
to
totally something I would do.
tink it out. I mean, it's not that it's not fixable. Yeah, you have to rip out the stitches and then reline up the triangles and sew them again. But I mean, it's not that it's not fixable. It's just time consuming.
It's annoying.
It's not a problem in the cutting, which is a bigger deal, because then you end up wasting fabric. But it's still, like, I realized what happened, and I started picking them out, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just not. It's not going to happen today.
Nope.
So
I think we all have those kind of mistakes with whether it's sewing or knitting or.
So in the show notes, it says
you can't follow simple
Leslie can't follow simple instructions.
And then it says you can't count either. What's up with that?
So, this has to do with our 7-year anniversary kits.
Uh-huh.
So the dyer for the yarn for our 7-year anniversary kits, when she sent the box of the yarn, it came to my house, and she was kind enough to, like, put them in those giant Ziploc things.
Yeah.
And
probably like sets of 10 or something.
And yeah, consistent sets. And so she wrote the number on the outside of how many were in each box, in each bag. I didn't count them. You know, I trust her. They looked about right. So, so on the outside of each bag, there were 4 total. And on the outside of 3 of them, it said 32. And on the outside of another one, it said 8. And I emailed her and I said, 3 bags of 32 is 66.
No, it's not.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we ordered 100. And she's like,
Oh, that's why I love that dyer.
So I was like, you know what? I'm a dummy. I'm super sorry. I
think we've all done that too.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? This is why I can't have a business.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why when I take payments for SSK, I record things in 3 different places.
Yeah.
Because it's always better to be able to go back and check.
Yes.
And we've never really had, you know, a problem where anything went missing, except when the ATM ate half the checks.
The checks. I remember that. That was pretty terrible.
But
look, I started a new color. It's green.
Amazing. Oh, I like that green.
I do too. That lime green. That's a good color.
So we have left to talk about our 7-year anniversary packages, a teacher change at SSK, and Stash Dash. So if you don't care about any of those things, that's cool. And we'll see you next week.
Let's just talk about Stash Dash first, because more people might be concerned about that. The rules, the updated rules for Stash Dash will be up by the time this episode gets up, because I'm going to work on them tonight.
And we will record a separate little video talking about that, and that'll be up before Stash Dash goes live.
Yep. So you know the rules and what's going on. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for your positive input, those of you who posted in the thread. I appreciate it. And there's going to be a few little changes, and we'll talk about that in the longer episode. But the page, so if you go to the Knit Girls group, there's a little tab at the top that says pages. You'll be able to see last year's rules and then this year's rules. And so
I would just end the subject with the comment that this is all for imaginary points on the internet. Like, welcome your opinion, but there's no way to make everybody happy.
That's true too.
So
we try.
Yeah.
We always try.
We want you to participate in our silly thing for imaginary points, but really, you know, you do what makes you happy.
Yep. You make it work for you. So, 7-year kit. We're going to show you 2 pieces of the 7-year kit. The main pieces. And then there's going to be a bunch of smaller Knit Girls swag that's going to be a secret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be in the package. So, the cost for each package is $75. We only have 100. That's all we're willing to deal with. And I'm not certain what site we're going to use for payments for, like, to claim that 100, because I don't want it to go, like, over.
Can you set up a cart on WordPress?
I don't know. I'll look. I don't want it to, you know how, like, Nama used to have it where it would go over.
Yes, and that would be terrible.
Yeah, so Any indies that have done stuff like this, I welcome your input.
Well, we can always do Etsy, but then we'll lose fees.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to avoid. We'll just do like a Ravelry thread, and that way it's very transparent.
Yeah, and the first 100
people that post, then we'll email them an invoice and PayPal.
And you can only claim one per post.
Yes, one, and we'll have all this at the top of that thread.
Yep. When do we want to do that?
After we finished getting everything in. So let's say, what's today? Today is the 8th. Let me look at the calendar. Do you want to do it like the 15th or the 17th?
Sure. Let's do it on a weekend.
Okay.
So I think people are... So do you want to do it the 20th? You're on call, though.
Yeah. It's better. And we have cookie class that morning.
On the 13th?
Yeah.
We can do it on the 14th.
Yeah.
I also have my LuLaRoe online party for Lynn on the 13th.
Okay, so let's do it on the 14th, Sunday, May the 14th, and we'll do it at noon Central Standard Time.
Okay.
And
we'll open a thread, and the first 100 that get claimed to get claims.
12 noon Central Standard Time on the 14th. And
there you go, and it'll be on Ravelry. Do you want to add that?
Yeah, I'm going to do a separate, that's a note for me. Yes.
Okay.
I will put a separate thread up in Ravelry, and I'll link it in this week's episode thread on Ravelry as well.
Okay. So the two big things, which we're super excited about, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
So the yarn is based on a fabric sample from the bag. So we'll start with the bag. And this was actually initially a submission for another thing, and we didn't choose it for that other thing, but we liked it so much we sort of made the anniversary kit for this bag. So it's still in its packaging. Let me figure out how to open it, and then I will show you guys.
So the kit's gonna have a bag, a project bag, and yarn, and then some
little swag. Yeah. And $75 includes shipping as well.
Yes.
So we feel like it's a pretty decent deal.
Yes. We're not making money on it.
We don't anticipate to make money on it. It's just something fun we wanted to do, and we finally got around to it because 7 years is the year of wool.
There you go.
So this is the bag, and this is from Ashley of Twist Fiber, and we are super stoked. So we've got all the little kitty cats in the yarn and the ladies, and
the kitty cats knitting.
Kitty cats knitting, and the insides will I think they're all gray, or some of them are gray and some of them are this sort of peachy orange color. I can't remember. I'll have to go and look. If that's a huge deciding factor for you, then PM me or email me, and I will get back with you. But yeah, so they're huge bags. I would say they're not.
They're flat bottom bags.
They are flat bottom bags. If you're more familiar with like Amy Beth's bags, they're sort of the middle size. They're not her giant sweater size, but they're like the large project bags.
Like the shawl ones.
Yeah. And it's got...
You could easily fit like 3 or 4 skeins in there.
Yeah. It's got Ashley's little tag and its own little key fob. And, yeah.
That cat Linane kind of looks like Humberto because it's got that face.
That
like
angry face. People are the worst. So we got the bags, and then we immediately decided, because we're junkies for self-striping.
We got Susan, who's amazing and can count unlike Leslie.
Exactly.
To do some self-striping. So this is the 7-Year Itch. It's a TheKnitGirll's exclusive colorway. It is self-striping. It's got a peach, a light blue, and a gray. Yeah,
and it's 5 separate stripes. I'm pulling it closer because it's sort of getting washed out a little bit. Yeah, it actually makes me think of like the seashore and Sharon. This is what I thought when I first saw it. But
it's a very summer color, which I love.
And it's the 7-Year Itch, and it is an exclusive colorway to us. Although she owns the rights and can do whatever the crap she wants with it. And it's her typical Viso sock weight base, 462 yards, superwash, merino, and nylon. So these two are the main items in the 7-year anniversary kit. They're also, like we said, there will be some other little swag items sprinkled in there.
That are TheKnitGirls centered.
Yes. Because we have to be a little self-centered. It's our 7 years.
It is our 7 years.
The kits will not ship out immediately, but they will ship out by the end of the month.
Basically a pre-order.
Yeah, it is a pre-order. I will have actual shipping dates in the thread before you sign up for it, but we wanted you to know what you're signing up for.
Yep.
And I like the idea of doing it on Ravelry because it's transparent. There's no favoritism.
Yeah.
It's, and Ravelry is stable. So I think that's what we'll do. And yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too.
This is Laura's skein.
This is my skein.
Yeah. Because Susan sent a couple extra. We'll probably take one to SSK as a door prize. And then
maybe we can use one as a stash prize.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be good.
And then one for me and one for Laura.
Yep.
So yeah, they're awesome. It makes me happy. And now I can use this bag, which is good.
I haven't gotten mine yet.
Yeah, you did. I gave it.
No, you did not.
It's over there somewhere though. She sent us two. I thought I gave you one. It's over there somewhere with my sewing stuff. Last but not least, we have a teacher change.
Yes.
For SSK.
So David of Southern Cross has been suffering from migraines
for a long time.
For a long time, but they've gotten pretty severe, and he's not going to be able to travel. So he won't be coming to SSK, which is a little bit of a bummer because I really want to meet David. But we have a really awesome teacher.
Yes, we were able to sort of, I don't want to say scramble because it was a very...
he let us know way ahead of time, which is really, really nice.
We were super lucky, and we reached out and got our first pick.
Yep.
For a replacement.
Because we had already thought about choosing her for next year, so it worked out really well. So Margaret Radcliffe is going to come. She's written a bunch of really, really good books, including The Knowledgeable Knitter, and she's got a color theory book, and she's just got a ton of really, really good resources.
Yeah, when she sent us her class list, I was like, crap, I feel like we need an event for her because she's got so many amazing options.
The Knitting Answer book, the Circular Knitting Workshop, which is really, really good. So she's got a lot. She's been in One Skein Wonders.
Yeah, I think the color knitting book is the one I know her for the most.
The Circular Knitting Workshop is really, really good.
And then she's got tons of like individual patterns as well on Ravelry. So she is an incredibly well-rounded knitter and has some absolutely amazing class options.
And Eloise and Maggie and my local knit group took classes from her a couple years ago and like continually raved about how nice she was during the class, but also afterwards they went out to dinner together. Mm-hmm. So I trust their opinions. Yeah. And if she sucks, then it's on them. She won't suck.
Plus, I kind of feel like we've got some epic with her and Ann Budd this year. I just feel like it's trippy,
There's some people that are really, really unlethal.
Yeah, and Jillian. I'm super stoked.
It's a good lineup this year.
With some classic teachers like Anne and Margaret, I'm very excited. I hope we get some time to actually take classes this year.
That would be nice. That would be super nice. We'll see.
Yeah.
It might happen.
No, that doesn't make any difference whatsoever in your price if you're a Stash Dash attendee. It will make a difference in the class offerings that we suggest, but we think we picked some really good.
Yeah, we will. Classes will be up probably...
We always leave classes for
we always leave them for the end of
before.
May, typically, because we still have people drop an ad, and dropping an ad in classes, I want everyone to get their first choice class. Mm-hmm. That is what I want. And so when we have people drop an ad, the people who get in later kind of, I don't want to say they have to settle for what's left, but they can only choose from what's still available, which sometimes is not their first choice. So we leave classes, we've been doing this for 5 years already. We know to leave classes kind of till we're a month, 6 weeks out.
Yeah.
So I'll have blog posts for those as soon as they go live. They'll probably be the end of May, probably that right after Memorial Day. After Stash Dash starts and we get that underway, I'll have a little bit more time to... Like I said, I'll have more time after Stash Dash starts.
Such a dirty lie.
But I won't be at work for 8 hours a day.
This is true.
Where Ravelry is blocked. So
you'll be on your phone for 7 hours a day.
At my house. I'll be on my MacBook. Let's not kid.
That's true. So we are super stoked to have Margaret coming.
Yes.
And we were incredibly lucky to be able to just slide her right in there.
Mm-hmm, that she had that availability for sure.
So... Super
Some
excited.
people book 2 years out, and I kind of expected that with her.
Exactly, yeah.
So Awesomeness.
I feel like we're gushing, but I'm okay with that. So,
she'll be added to the SSK Cal 2 designers. Now you know why I put it off till the 15th, because I was waiting for her to sign the contract. So those of you have been like, why is there 15 days between gals?
We heard that at knit night a couple times. And
That
I was
is
like,
why.
that's all her.
I wanted Margaret to be able to squeeze in, and y'all planned for that before we got underway on that.
I need to remember to pack my books to get them signed this year. I
We have
never
like 3 or 4.
remember that for our teachers. And that's just silliness. So.
Yep. I was using my signed JC Boggs book the other day.
Okay, well, we hope you guys have a lovely week. We, again, if you are interested in one of the birthday or anniversary kits, we only have 100. First come, first serve. You can pick one, and that's it. You can't claim them for anybody else. Well, I guess you could.
You can just you
can only claim one.
One per.
Whatever you do with it at that point is you.
Do you want to do it one total or one per post, and then they can post again later?
I think if it doesn't fill up immediately, then maybe we'll do
more than one
per person. But I expect
she's the boss. I don't know
that it's going to be more like, I feel like it would be unfair to let somebody claim more than one unless they linger and maybe people hate them and they don't want them, and that's cool. But unless that happens.
Okay.
But otherwise, you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.